don't understand having to do not disturb calls come through and it stops the video. That's crazy. Where was I at? But it says in Mesopotamian context, including Chaldean/Babylonian ones, religious rituals center more on animal offerings, libations, temple dedications, and deities like Marduk, Sin, which is a moon god, or prominent in Ur, the Chaldees, or Ishtar, which is where it goes back to that holiday Easter. It says there's no substantial archaeological or textual evidence indicating widespread or routine child sacrifice among the Chaldeans. But it says some biblical or later tradition in connection with Abraham's Ur, the Chaldees, speculate about human sacrifice influences from neighboring cultures like Egyptian or Canaanite, but these are not directly confirmed for Chaldea practices. It says in summary, while human sacrifice occurred sporadically in a broader Near East, often in funerary or extreme ritual contexts, the Chaldeans do not stand out as a culture particularly focused on child sacrifice, unlike certain Canaanite or Phoenician groups where the evidence is stronger and more specific to infants and children. Claims otherwise stem from broader generalizations about the region or specific religious texts. So, Salakia. So basically, they learned that from Canaan, which doesn't surprise. Okay, Pete this. Yes, the ancient Phoenicians, especially their Western colonial descendants of the Carthaginians or Punic people, are strongly associated with the practice of child sacrifice, and historical and archaeological records, though the topic remains debated among scholars. All right, and this is the evidence here. I'm not going to go over everything, but so it's no surprise here. Okay, but anyway, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 12, and I'm going to start at verses, because this is what Jake was doing. They was learning the sacrifices from these heathens, and this is what Esau's in the same thing, the Feast of Blood. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 12, and I'm going to start at verses 3. It says, for it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices. See, going back to Canaan, it says, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of men's flesh in Feast of Blood. This is what they're talking about. You know, Feast of Blood, drinking blood, sacrificing, eating genitalia. Yeah. Jake was heavy into that too. It was a movie called Apocalypto, man. When the Northern Kingdom, they was involved in all types of sacrifices and rituals and eating of ligaments and all this other shit. But it says, and those merciless murderers of children and devourers of men's flesh in Feast of Blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crews, and the parents that were killed with their own hands, souls destitute of help. All right. So this is what Esau is currently involved in. And we've been telling people, yeah, you can't put nothing past this devil because that's his nature. Okay, he's the wicked. So let's play a little more.
J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in a downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we have.
They brought it out. I think the dude was like Rabbi Finkelstein. He brought out about how the major corporations like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, how they all found remains of child's remains in his food. Like he said, well, you think the hamburgers and all this other stuff? Because, I mean, you ain't got that many. I mean, yeah, you have cows is common and chickens are common, but overall, that shit is fillers, man. You know, McDonald's you ain't got no chicken downstairs in the basement of McDonald's. You ain't got no chicken farm down there. Even though they do have chicken farms that they get chicken from, but a lot of those chickens are sick. They're diseased. They're full of hormones and injections, and they've been finding human remains in these fast food burger joints, man. Hence, that's why you can't pay me to eat at fucking McDonald's, bro. Just thinking about it make my stomach just ugh. You know, but we've been consuming that shit our whole entire life, man. You know?
and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak. Can blank make some jerky? I think we should landscape all around the house to use the water if possible. If the main house is not enough. Are there any recorded images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky at all? No, there are no recorded or publicly known images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky.
Okay. Strange, right? I mean, a lot of references to beef jerky, walking beef jerky, keeping beef jerky in a freezer. You would definitely not need to do that. That is really strange. A restaurant called Cannibal that serves steaks and beef jerky. Yeah, there's a lot of strange, seems like coded wording in here with the beef jerky. I'm not, my brain is not ready to accept that Jeffrey Epstein was so sinister he was eating people. I'm not ready to go there yet. I mean, I'm hearing all of this just like you're hearing all of this, and my brain wants to come up with a different explanation. He was just,
and it ain't nothing new, man. These fucking podcasters or whoever the hell you want to call these people, they act like they're just so sharp. Anybody that operates or don't know anything about the global cabal knows that child sacrifices is a big thing. That movie Eyes Wide Shut, which I'm gonna actually watch that later on today. I actually saw it on, I think it's on Tubi. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna catch back up on that. But Apocalypto, fucking the movie, The Shining, Doctor Sleep, hell, why the hell you think they was bringing out them It movies so tough in the 90s, man? Hell, even a new It, Return to Derry, it goes into basically how It was basically a deity and he feeded on the fear of children. And what did the United States government? They was trying to weaponize that dude. They was trying to weaponize a deity, So they show you that in movies like that. They put it right in front of your face. It's just a sick, twisted, wicked world we in, man. This is why the Lord got to come back and deliver us. Jeremiah 32. And I'm going to start at verses 32. Because Jake was involved in this shit too. But Jeremiah 32 and 32, it says, because of all the evil of the children of Israel and the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophet, the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and they have turned back into, it says, and they have turned it to me the back and not the face. Though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not hearkened to receive instructions. But they set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to defile it. They built they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire into Molech, which I commanded them not. Neither came it to my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. All right. It says, and now therefore thus says the Lord Yahweh, the power of Israel, concerning this city, wherever ye say it should be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence, man. So the Most High is getting ready to bring fire and brimstone upon Esau's habitation, because even though this is talking to us, the scripture is manifold, it's twofold. As the scriptures say, was done, and there's nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says, the thing that had been, it had already been, which shall be. And that which is done is that which should be done. And there's no new thing under the sun. It says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? would have been already of old time, which was before us, right? So the things that happened before, it's happening again today, man. All right, and those ancient sacrifices is being partaken by the elites. This is why it tells us in matter of fact, let's get this in the book of Deuteronomy. I think it's 18. When the Lord was warning the Israelites to not get into necromancy and all this other shit. Okay, spiritism forbidden, and Jake is heavy in this too. But it says, when thou art coming to the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. It says, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or the divination, or observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. All right, and Esau is definitely a sorcerer, or a charmer, or a consultant with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. It says, for all that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh. Because of these abominations of the Lord thy power doth drive them out before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy power. So us as Israelites are commanded to not involve ourselves in these sacrifices. But Esau, on the other hand, he did. You know, this is why the Lord is bringing fire upon his habitation. All right. Let's go here to the book of where we at? Nahum 3. And I'm going to start at verses 4. It says, behold the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mischief of witchcrafts that settle her nations through whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. It says, behold, I am against thee, says Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stalk. So people are looking at this place like, wow, it's all coming out, which we told you. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste, who will bemoan her? When shall I seek the comforters for her? Okay, and nobody's going to come to the rescue of this place, because, I mean, this place is a fucking cancer, and it needs to be rid out. You know, and everybody is waking up to the fact that these Edomites, they're the devil. There's a race of devils, man. This is what they do. All right. Revelation 16, and I'm going to start at 13. It says, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. It says, for they are the spirit of devils, okay, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the power almighty. But it says here, there's the spirit of devils working miracles, man. All right. So anyway, let's play a little bit more, then we'll end it.
Eating beef jerky. That's what I'm hoping. Actual beef jerky. I mean, a lot of people are on the not the cannibal diet. A lot of people are not on the cannibal diet. The carnivore diet. A lot of people are on the carnivore diet, and maybe he was just trying to keep a lean figure for all of the sex he was having. My brain is not ready to accept that Jeffrey Epstein was potentially eating people. I just barely got on board the Pizzagate thing. I just barely started to see the patterns there with pizza and grape soda, and how there's no images of Jeffrey Epstein eating pizza or drinking grape soda, and yet it is talked about a lot in the emails. And obviously they're going to use coded language. There's some people out there that are saying, oh, I don't see any references to pedophilia in these emails. And it's like, okay, idiots, of course not. They would use coded language. You think they're going to actually say that they're pedophiles in these emails? No. You have to read between the lines, and if you do that, then there's a lot of coded language in there that is very suspect. But the beef jerky thing, I'm just not ready to go there yet, guys. I just don't think I can. I need to see more. I need to see more in order to accept this. However,
hidden value is all around you. It's in every app, transaction.
Here is something also strange that people are pointing out to. Epstein files reveal Jeffrey Epstein purchased 330 gallons of sulfuric acid in 2018. Sulfuric acid in 2018. So this is like the bone decomposing acid that would make evidence of bodies disappear. 330 gallons of it, that's a lot. Now, some say, well, no, this was for a reverse osmosis treatment for water on his island, which 330 gallons would be about the right amount for a small island to do reverse osmosis water treatment system. But did he buy this ever before? I mean, he'd had the island for a while. Did he just begin reverse osmosis treatment of water?
And this is all madness, man. But let's go Revelation 18. And I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at verses 20. It says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets. It says, for the Most High have avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus says with violence, that great city Babylon should be thrown down and be found no more at all. Why? Because of the witchcrafts, the sorceries, the wickedness, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters should be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be should be found no more at all in thee, and the sound of a millstone should be heard no more all in thee. And it reads, and it says, and the light of the candle shall shine no more all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride should be heard no more all in thee. It says, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Yeah, this media. It says, and was found in her the blood of the prophets and the saints and all that was slain upon the earth. So this place got a lot to pay for, man. Okay. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.